Together we question.
Together we achieve.
Together we create.
Together we overcome.
And together we inspire. Welcome to the Empower You podcast.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ripen. Ripen brings real projects from organizations into higher education.
So without further ado, I think we're good to go to start. So welcome to Empower You, a podcast based out of the University of Victoria, focusing on highlighting local talent, industry leaders, and student experiences in the Inspire program. Empower You focuses on spreading an inspirational and innovative mindset through showcasing new technologies, methodologies, and real human stories.
Empower You is a result of a program at the University of Victoria called Inspire that focuses on research and community-based innovation that engages science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, otherwise known as STEM. Students from underrepresented groups, including individuals of marginalized genders, Indigenous peoples, members of racialized minorities, disabilities, and LGBTQ2S+ individuals. We connect students with mentors from industry and the community to ideate and co-create solutions that address society's most pressing challenges, especially in the area of sustainability.
I'm your co-host, Hamdy, a computer engineering student from McMaster University, a tech industry professional, as well as an executive on the Inspire program.
And I'm your co-host, Jenna Mehlman, a UVic science student, alumni, and laboratory instructor, as well as an ambassador for the Inspire program.
Our podcast today focuses on the story of the Inspire program, how it started, where it currently is at, and where it will be going. Joining us for today's episode is Dean Mina Hoorfar, Dean of Engineering and Computer Science, as well as Professor of Mechanical Engineering at the University of Victoria. And without further ado, I'll actually pass it along to Mina to introduce herself.
Thank you so much. My name is Mina Hoorfar. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Computer Science at UVic. I started almost a year ago, and I was before that at UBC Okanagan. For 16 years I was there. My background is mechanical engineering, and as a female student, person of color, I always wanted to make a change in terms of diversity and inclusion. And I think this position has given me enough sort of understanding of what the stakes and what we can do in this area. So I'm so happy to be here in this role and talking about Inspire program.
Yeah, awesome. And we're really happy to have you today.
Absolutely. Our next guest for today's episode is Dr. Daniela Damian, a professor of software engineering at the University of Victoria's Department of Computer Science and a professional engineer in software engineering. She's the special advisor to the Dean on Inclusive STEM and Community-Engaged Innovation in UVic's Faculty of Engineering and a Senior Research Fellow at the Center for Asia-Pacific Initiatives. She also leads SEAGUL, the Software Engineering Global Interaction Laboratory at UVic, where she directs research in human factors and diversity in software engineering.
As an immigrant to Canada, she has experience reflected on and become passionate about diversity and inclusion in software development, and now wants to lead changes towards more inclusive STEM fields. Recently, she was a recipient of the 2020 Reach Award for Excellence in Teaching for Experiential Learning at UVic, the 2021 Google Award for Inclusion Research, and 2019 Royal Society New Zealand Catalyst International Leader Award.
Well, first of all, like Ali said, thank you for joining us today. I know you both have very busy schedules, so we're very honored that you could join us. I want to pass the first question off to Dana. So I want to ask you, what is Inspire? What is Inspire STEM for Social Impact?
Thank you, and hello, Ali and Jenna. Thank you for inviting us. Such a pleasure to be here with my Dean Mina. Inspire is a place. It's a community building effort and a program of research and community engaged learning and innovation that aims to bring innovative minds to change the culture in Faculty of Engineering and Science. To a inclusive learning environment where students get empowered by solving problems with societal impact.
And I'd like to pass the next question off to Mina. Speaking of impact, what does impact mean to you? And then we'll throw that back to Dana.
So in the field of engineering and computer science, the impact is how much the way that we're thinking and we are developing technologies going to change what day-to-day life is. So impact in our energy, healthcare, access to the natural resources. So for us, if we can make solutions that they can make life better, easier, that is the impact. So impact on our lives and the planet. So when I look at the Inspire and the way that I see the impact will always come from a group and a team that is diverse, and it includes the composition, the population of the diverse population of the country. That is where the best minds are, and you can come up with the best solutions. So that is how the impact is going to flourish.
Awesome. And Dana, what would your definition of impact be?
I very much agree with Mina. What I would like to add from my own experience in research in software engineering, particularly requirements engineering, where we try to build techniques and software that aims at addressing the real needs of the software users. So impact from that perspective is solving real problems, and they may have to do with social sustainability or environmental sustainability, but it is about getting to the roots of the needs of those who use software or other technologies in our society.
Awesome.
And speaking on that, so you saw a need within software engineering. So what inspired you to create Inspire in general?
I could talk forever about that, but where it started, as an immigrant, as Ali said, immigrant to Canada, and woman of color, I have had a bit of a hardship, blending in, learning about how I can learn better, how I can have a real impact around me. Like, that's why I'm in software engineering. I wanted to help out others and build software that helps others. And then getting a professor job, I researched quite a bit, globally distributed teams, which include people with different perspectives, ethnic backgrounds. And observing those teams succeed, I realized that is the way to go. The world is flatter day by day, and if we can educate and graduate students who can thrive in such environments by learning in environments that are inclusive, then they can take that attitude and the practices and not only work in inclusive environments later on, but also build inclusive software because they understand what different perspectives mean, and understanding perspectives of end users and those that their software is affecting.
Absolutely. And Mina, you were actually recently appointed as the Faculty of Engineering Computer Science first female dean, which is amazing. And I don't know why it took so long. But what I want to ask you is, what was your initial reaction when Dana approached you about this program?
Actually, I exactly remember the day that I met Dana over Zoom. And it was almost a week after I joined UVic. And she showed me the proposal, or sent me the proposal. And over the Zoom, we went over it. And it took me only a minute to see it is a gold mine. It is, and I will tell you why. It is a unique opportunity. And now, even after a year, I'm much, believer in that. So the reason I right away got interested in the program, because it's a multifaceted program. There are many programs that they are handling EDI, equity, diversity, inclusion in STEM. There are many programs that there are youth outreach program around the country. There are many programs that they are hands-on, bringing the industry into the classroom, working with the student. But Inspire has all of them, and also targeting the historically underrepresented group. So when I saw that it has the underrepresented group, STEM, industry, community, it's too good to be true. And I knew from the resume, Dana, she's the only one can handle it. And we started, and I knew she has a lot on her plate to show it. And I can see after less than a year, this is such a huge success. And I'm so glad actually to have Dana in my faculty, the person who's running this and showcasing this, because it's not just in our faculty, I wanted to stress. This is an effort across the campus. As you know, UVic is moving towards inclusive environment more and more, understanding indigenous culture, embedding it in our programs, as well as touching the sustainable development goals. And this is what Inspire is. So even without or knowing all of these ahead of time, when I saw it, I know this is where we wanted to be. There are a lot of stuff we need to do, but I think we're in the right time. And we started way earlier than other places.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. And Dana, this program's been going on for planning including since 2021.
Yeah.
But physically and actually implementing it through the last 3 months, what has been your most rewarding experience so far?
seeing the successes of its participants through the huge effort of our team, executive team. So we started hiring garage students. Apprentice garage students are those who are matched with a community problem, and they work in mentorship from senior undergraduate students in our program as well as industry mentors. Now, to support these groups, we also have an ambassadorship program. And these ambassadors are senior undergraduates or graduate students who received training in EDI as well as design thinking earlier before the actual garage projects started. And seeing the successes or the learning that happened and empowerment of our ambassadors as supporting of the garage projects, and now the garage projects are very successful. That had been very, very empowering to me and rewarding.
Yeah, and for our viewers who don't know what EDI is, could you define what EDI is and also tell us a little bit about the project that the ambassadors were trained on?
Yeah, very good point, Ali. Thank you. So EDI stands for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And equity has to do with, it's not equality per se, but it's about offering opportunities to all our participants in a way that matches their needs in terms of their learning, their experiences, so that they can learn and grow in the same way as everybody else, despite the differences that they have. Diversity has to do with including everybody from different socioeconomic background, ethnic background, gender diversity, and other aspects that create diverse perspectives in our program. And inclusion, which is actually my favorite one, has to do with creating an environment where students feel supported and they feel they belong to a community, in our case, a community of practice and community of learning, despite the differences. And it's a subtle element, because you can have a diverse group of students or a learning environment that is not inclusive. So the hard work that goes into is really to create the inclusive environment where the different perspectives are listened to, are considered, and students are empowered despite the diversity in that student population.
Awesome.
You also asked me, so I don't want to forget about the project that ambassadors worked on. So at the core of our apprentice garage program is a methodology that we teach, and we help them apply in their projects, and it's design thinking. And that is based on a concept of empathy. And that's how they practice in understanding the needs of those in the problem situation that they tackle. They have an empathy, they understand the problem from their eyes and their perspectives. So in order to support them to apply this design thinking methodology, our ambassadors have been trained in the same methodology, and they applied it into a shorter program, a project around 6 weeks long. And it had to do with exploring the situation and solutions towards an EDI helpline at UVic. We wanted to understand in our Faculty of Engineering whether students have challenges in reporting violations of EDI, the way they perceive that, how the systems in place at UVic supports them, and what can be done to make the life even easier. So they came up with an understanding of, yes, there are areas we can improve. So we have a design for a system that provides better support for EDI. We call it EDI Helpline, and we are planning to implement it in the fall.
That's awesome. And where can people learn more about the project?
We are preparing a report on our website.
Okay.
And we are hiring a developer for the fall.
Okay.
To implement it. Yeah. And work with university systems, because it's got to be an integrated system, and align with other efforts that are at UVic with this within supporting students for EDI reporting. And
I 100% agree that EDI is a huge issue, but why should students listening to this, as well as early industry professionals, take this into importance? Like, what is the importance of EDI in the workplace, not even just within an academic atmosphere? I'll pose a question to Mina.
Sure. So I'm not sure if you have heard about leaky pipe. I'm just going with the gender, but that can be extended to other underrepresented groups. So when we start and we're talking about STEM, grade 1 till grade 5, we have another leak. We have portion of the pipe that is leaking in terms of the losing the student interested in STEM. As they go through their high school, the same thing, and then university and after that. Of course, there are many aspects towards it, but one of them is that I'm talking about gender or other underrepresented groups, they don't feel they're included and they can do what other groups can do and be innovative or transformative. And that's why starting early, even in our outreach program, in our university program, and even for industry, now they're partnering. That's why I felt this program is very unique. University partnering with Dana and her group and our university, industry understand that how much this EDI is important, and that will change the workforce. So when our students are graduating, they feel in much more inclusive environment to work with. As a result, we can reach to our mandate of 30 by 30. What is the mandate of 30 by 30 is that by 2030, the Engineering Canada wanted to increase the number of the licensee of female employee by 30%, increase it by 30%. So in order to achieve it, is not just hiring more or bringing more female students to the university or preparing them for it. It also the environment outside should be inclusive. So this program, bringing the EDI from the lens at the university, training the ambassadors, but also involving industry, in a way, a subtle way, training them as well. So when the student go into their environment, they feel included and safe. So then that will increase the number of them that are staying in this profession. So that's why it's very important.
That's awesome. I've just been sitting here in the edge of my seat because I had the privilege of working on this EDI helpline project here at UVic, and to hear from Dana that it's going through in the fall, I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk more about that. But for now, I really want to get your opinion on the EDI helpline project, Mina. And well, my question for you was, do you think UVic will implement it? But I already got my answer, which is yes, which is amazing. But how do you think it'll change the overall culture here at UVic?
So I'm sure that you know EDI is a concept that is evolving. So I can say that maybe 20 years ago, we were talking about gender, imbalanced gender in engineering and other professional programs or math or technology and science. But now we see way more than that. So having this kind of program, the training as well as the helpline, it will really also show that how much we're active in learning more about the EDI and teaching everybody, stakeholders at the university level and whoever is involved with us. So it's very important, not just for training, but also for ourselves to get better understanding of the EDI.
Absolutely.
And I actually wanted to shift the conversation, also related to the learning that goes on in the program. What makes this program different than any other program within the university from a student perspective? Why is it different than a course? Why is it different than a club? Why is it different than a co-op, in a sense? I'll pose that question to you.
Yeah, so the way we intended is at the core of it is the experiential learning opportunity. And then there's related elements. So working on a real world problem is one of them. Students are faced with open-ended problems. They're faced with real stakeholders trying to understand different domains. And that makes their mind open towards different perspectives and understanding what inclusive software is or the inclusive technologies are. The other element is mentorship. So we are creating a network. Inspire is a network in the end, a community of practice where students are supported. Best practices from industry, technical skills, team management, team dynamics, time management, project management. So it is a support that's offered to students working on this problem. And then the network itself is a very important component because they help each other. We have had students teach React and web development to the others. We had some initial training from professionals, but then students started championing certain topics and helping each other. So they became mentors to each other. So that community and support is very important, especially for the underrepresented who may feel isolated and they don't have someone to talk to when it's hard. Again, tackling open-ended problems can be hard at times, especially if you work hard, you're tired and exhausted, and you just don't know why you're doing this. So being together and finding ways little by little every day is very important.
And maybe I just add to that. I've taken so many EDI courses, workshops, trainings. Now I'm getting better, but at the beginning, a month after, I forgot most of the material. The way I see Inspire, and that's why I was really happy when I saw the proposal and got very excited, is that by doing it, you understand EDI. So by going through this exercise of doing a challenge together, having a team, having industry, having community, you learn what the EDI means. I think that's a lot.
And on top of that, I think it's a lot of the students, for the viewers who don't know, are vary from first year to second year to third year, all the way to graduate students. And a lot of them, it's the first time they actually interact with different personnel from different levels and different walks of life. And they get offered like a position of leadership. Like that, we guide the students, but they ultimately are the shot callers.
It's the empowerment that comes through allowing them to be leading the project, leading reflections on their experience, right?
Yeah.
And leading, they make presentations on their progress in the journey and the projects itself, which is a true empowerment atmosphere.
Yeah.
And speaking on the projects, would you mind just briefly explaining the 6 different projects that you have going on right now?
Yes, absolutely. We have projects in all areas of several areas of sustainability, be that environmental or social. And one of my favorite ones, actually, they're all very excellent, but one of my favorite ones is Climact, which aims to create a mechanism to engage teens in being aware of their climate footprint, as well as provide strategies on what they can do on a daily basis, and tell them the message that every one of us could take a little step, and changes will happen. So that is being also actually finished right now, development of the app, and it is being introduced in a number of high schools in Victoria in the fall, and see how that is being adopted, and we are continuing development in collaboration with teachers. Some other projects include for environmental sustainability, social sustainability. We have one that is partnered with Greater Victoria Coalition to End Homelessness. And it is a mechanism to help women that flee domestic abuse. And it is supporting them in finding resources, including shelters, to survive when they need it. The other one is in collaboration with Victoria Brain Injury Society. And you would be surprised the subtleties of designing applications for patients with brain injuries. The simplicity of the interface, the way the information is being provided, has to be very well designed. So that project involved a lot of research into the expectations and mental models of these patients and how to present information to them. Another project working with Red Brick, one of our sponsors, has to do with studying the carbon footprint of digital technologies, something that we don't often consider. Mm-hmm. We think about other footprint, but not the digital one. So helping organizations understand when they design web pages, for example, what is it that they need to consider in terms of how the information is being presented and gathered from the internet. So these are some of the projects that we're working on, and the website actually has team information and some progress on these projects.
That's fantastic.
That is www.
inspireuvic.org.
Exactly.
That's right.
Mina, I wanted to target ask you through listening to all these descriptions of the projects and how empowering and inspiring this could be to the students themselves. How do you see education changing in the future based off of a program like Inspire?
Oh, absolutely. So there are many places right now around the world that they are looking at engineering education and computer science education from different lens. What I went through, my father went through, it doesn't work these days. But it's still in some places, and it's still even in my faculty, some of the areas we're teaching, they are very old and 2 decades old. So I think education changed because of technology. And whether we like it or not, the same way that because of the calculator, we don't need to do everything by hand now. I know some people at the beginning, they were against it, but that's the reality. You don't need to waste your time there and go and invent something else. what I see that Inspire, including all of these sustainable development goals and understanding of this multifaceted approach of bringing community and industry into the university, which is something very new because always there is a big gap between them. We really focus education for the need of industry and making or engineering education, computer science for the need of the industry. Because we have to graduate people who are career ready and are going to be employed and they can solve the problem right away. We don't have time, 20 years, to solve the energy challenges. So I think that will definitely change the courses, the curriculum, the way of teaching, even the technology we're using for teaching, and our approaches and mindset about what are the areas that are important now to do that. Maybe we don't need to have certain courses. They're not very important. We need to focus on other areas. So we already seen it in many places across Canada. Every day you will see that new programs are coming. They're all around social aspect of engineering and computer science. They're around I call it professional skills, project management skills, integrated engineering, for example. These are all the pioneers of changing the education. And I can see, I don't know when, Inspired the way that started right now and having these projects can bleed into maybe creation of a new program in our faculty. And I don't know the name of it now, but that could be a flagship for UVic.
And what I love about this program, because I've been interacting with students on a daily basis now too, is you're not feeding them information. You're inspiring them, and they're going out of their way to get that information. I know, Dana, I've said this quote to you, but like it's my favorite quote from Socrates, where education is not the filling of a vessel, it is the kindling of a flame.
Yes.
Yeah. I know we're running out of time right now. But I wanted to thank both Dana as well as Mina for coming on the podcast. So thank you so much. As well as our viewers, thank you for tuning into our first Empower You episode. I'm your co-host, Ali Hamdy.
And I'm your co-host, Jenna Mehlman.
Join us next week for an episode regarding our Inspire Climax team with Casey and Adam, where they'll be sharing their story working with local high school students and helping local communities take environmental impact.
Remember to stay inspired and empowered, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Awesome. Thank you,
Great.
everyone.
Thank you.
I'm Parker DeBrun.
I'm your co-host, Jenna Mehlman.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. Until next time, stay inspired.